All right, let's focus on the law of cosines now. Please make sure your calculators are set in degree mode. If you're not sure how to do that with your calculator, go ahead and Google it. It'll show you how it's pretty simple. Typically, it just means you push mode and then go to degree. You do not want it in radian mode. Now, when we're looking at this, the law of cosines, remember, the law of cosines is used when we don't have a set. If we had a set, meaning a side and its opposite angle, then we would use the law of sines. Or if it was a right triangle, we would use, SOHCAHTOA or Pythagorean theorem. When we don't have that, we see if we can use a law of law of cosines. Now, there are two different formulas or equations that you can use for the law of cosines. Okay, depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a side, this is the equation you would use. Now, there are technically three different equations you can use for a side, just depending on which one you need. However, I'm going to show you how to just make one work. Okay, the second equation you need to know is if you're looking for an angle. Now, an angle, once again, there's three different angles in a triangle, so there's technically three different equations, but once again, I'm going to show you how to just use these two equations. All right, so let's get right into it. Make sure you guys are taking notes along the way, and don't be afraid to pause it and write it down. So if I give you this triangle here, and I ask you to find this, we're going to try and find x. Well, x is a side, so that means that we will be using this equation. However, it's solved for a. I don't have an a anywhere in here. So what that means is I need to create an a. All right, so if this is my side a, because that's the only equation I have, if this is a, then this is angle A. If that's angle A, then it really doesn't matter what these are. You could name it B and C or C and B. It doesn't make any difference. I'm just going to call this B and this one C. Therefore, that is angle C and that is angle B. Now, let's get going. Now that we have our B, our C, and our angle A, we can fill it all in. So A equals, which is x, by the way, A equals B squared plus C squared. B squared is 29 plus C squared, which is 13, minus 2B C, and then times cosine A, and cosine A is right there, 41. All right, and that's it. So it doesn't really matter what your triangle is labeled. You can relabel it using just those. And once again, the little a is the side you're looking for. All right, so it doesn't matter which one of these it was, as long as, if we're looking for this one, that's A. If we were looking for this one, say 13 wasn't there, and we're looking for it, it would be my A. All right? So then you can just type that into your calculator just as it sits, and just to make sure, I'll do it with you guys. And I get 20.9987, which basically, if I rounded it to one decimal place, that 9 would round it up and make it 21. So that's using the side. Now, let's do one more example. I have labeled this one A, B, and C, but I've purposefully made us look for C. All right, so let's go ahead and try this one again, but we have to relabel it because I only have this equation. So this is now little a, which makes this a. If that's a, then it doesn't matter which one of these are b and c. This is already b, so this is little b. Let's call this c and little c. That way we have them all. It doesn't matter what we're doing. It's okay. Nobody's going to get upset that we've actually messed up their triangle. So let's solve for our a. A equals b squared, which is 14 squared plus c squared minus 2 bc. Oops, almost did the old problem. And then times cosine a, which is 21. And it's the square root of all of that. So doing this problem, type it all in. And you get a equals 6.46, but it would round to 6.5. So 6.5. So there you go. That's what this side will equal, 6.5. And I know it's not a, but we made it a. So now let's get into our last couple of examples. So what if we're looking for an angle? It's not m angle m, it's the measure of angle m. So we're looking for this right here. Now, keep in mind, this is our equation that we use right here for an angle. So it's a, angle A. So that's what I'm looking for, is this one right here. So I'm going to call that angle A. And then doesn't matter, this can be B, this can be C, this one could be C, this could be B, doesn't matter. So if that's B, this is little b. If that's A, that's little a, and if that's C, that's little c. So now we have our A, our B, and our C, and we could plug it in. Notice in here, there are no angles. Whenever you're trying to find an angle using the law of cosines, they don't give you any angles. They have to give you 3 sides. So that's why there are only sides, and we know that because they're all lowercase. So angle A equals inverse cosine, and it's b squared, so 15 squared, plus c squared, which is 25, minus a squared, all over 2 times b times c. Cosine -1 is second cosine. And then I'm going to just go ahead and put a fraction in there just because it helps me, makes it easier for me. And there's my angle, 19.7. 19.7. So that's what that angle would equal. See if you could do this one by yourself. I'll give you a little hint. We're looking for this angle right here. So therefore, that's A. It doesn't matter which one of these is B and C, but I'll say B and C. So take a moment and try and solve this. Here's the work. Hopefully you guys did the work right, and you got 16.7. Here's what the calculator really shows. I said 16. 68, I think, 0.7, so make sure you have that. And good luck on the homework today. I will post the solutions to the homework on Friday morning, and you will have a quiz to take sometime Friday. See you guys.